the rules engine and personalization, how you create new personas, new rules, new conditions, and apply that to content. But first, let's go ahead and examine this little permissions section here at the beginning of session 3. If you are creating personas, and I will create a brand new piece of content first, a new persona. And that's under our content again. It's a special type of content called persona. You can create many persona content types if you wish, although I can't see why you would want to add more fields, but you could. Okay. Right now we have financial kind of personas created, but I added movies, so I am going to create a new persona called animated movie lover. Okay. The second I create this persona, it gives a special key tag down here. It's a custom field. You could edit it, but. And I'm going to put a picture of Ratatouille here. I don't know. Okay. Put this guy here. And then other tags, Pixar, Disney. I don't know. Whatever you would want as additional tags. Persona to help target content towards lovers of animated movies. Okay. And I'm going to save and publish my new persona. So I have a new persona in the system. Okay. Now, if I come here to let's pick something that's already got tags on it and already has a personalized pull. So we'll go to news, because the news is actually using a pull personalized. And I'm going to create a new headline. Okay, so we'll take that guy and we'll call this movie review of a new Pixar movie. Okay. And in my tags, after I create that persona, I can then tag content in my system with that persona. So I'm going to call it start typing NANI, and it automatically not only shows me the tag, but you can see the little persona icon next to the tag. And this is a 100 weight tag. So it really, and you can configure that to have a different number of, associated with it. And then an algorithm calculates the total sum on the visitor all the time and determines, because you could be associated with multiple personas, and then it's which one have you which one has the most weight. How many times have you clicked on content that's been tagged in this way or has other associated tags, and it'll constantly keep a score. And based upon your visitor object, based upon where you are in the world, based upon what you've clicked on, times a million, and you can start, kind of intuitively adjusting your content. So this is asking for a latitude and longitude, so I'll go ahead and do that. Animated movie lover content. And okay. And I save and publish that. Let me put the publish date in the past so that we're not hiding it. July 16th. And I'm actually, so you don't think it's just by the publish date, I'm going to take another piece of news and put it ahead of that one. But it doesn't have, it has the retiree tag. So I'm going to put this one at July 31st. And I'm going to save and publish it. Okay. So you see that it's not publish date that'll bring it to the top of the list. Okay. And I can do one more thing to set up our personas. I can go here to the site browser. Let's go to our home page. And we'll take off one of these guys since I messed this one up anyway. Might as well fix it. And we'll say this is do you like animated movies? And okay, as for Buell, kind of. Oh, it didn't lock for editing. Okay. And we're going to take this to our movies page, which was departments. Is it departments or department? Departments. And then movie detail, right? Movie hyphen detail. Okay. I'm going to copy that path, and then I'm going to, I guess I was in the middle of changing this content. See latest version, leave, save and publish, lock for editing. Okay, now I can change this guy. I'm sorry. So we'll copy that path and do this one more time. There we go. And save and publish. Okay, now we're all good. And now this is going to be my trigger, right? And I also have that fly out and stuff like that I can click on, but that's kind of cheap. So we'll do it in a more real way. Now we would come over, now that we've kind of got some content labeled in a way, and we've got, some triggers. I've got to click on a page. I've got the link already stored. Then I come down here to marketing, and I go to rules, and I can start setting up some rule behavior, right? So I'm going to set this up for demo.dotCMS.com. I'm going to add a rule, all right? And I'm going to add a animated movie lover rule. And I'm going to have it act on every page. And I'm always going to be listening. And if the current URL is /departments/movie detail, and I could add a whole bunch of other, conditions. I could put and or, and then, or I'm in Costa Rica, and I could say, visitor's country is, and set wherever in the world. Or I could say, if your browser language is, English or any other language, or if my device type is a game console, million different things, and you can add and extend and add your own custom conditions and add your own custom actions. Super easy. We already have the endpoints ready for you to just drop them right in, and you can access them through REST. So it's really robust and really, modern in its development. And even this portlet is done in Angular. So, okay. So I'm going to say the current URL is departments movie detail. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a persona, and I get to choose my persona, and there's my animated movie lover, right? Now, whenever I set the persona, I already have the news page pulling by respecting personalized content. Now, the last thing I have to do after I set up this little trigger rule that if your current URL is my little movies page, then I'm going to set the persona to, now that probably should be the Ratatouille URL, but, or, some URL that, shows interested in, in a specific, it should be titled better is all I'm saying. But we're going to turn that rule on. Now it's active. So now if I actually visit from the front end, it's going to trigger that visitor persona to be set. So I am now going to close that out. Close that out. I'm going to go to a totally new incognito so we know there isn't anything set in the session. Localhost 8080, hit the front end. And no persona is set, even though I can see in my flyout here that I've got my little Ratatouille guy there, my animated movie lover. I don't want to click on him because then that'll set him, but I want it to be set naturally, right? So now what I could do is if I click and I show interest over here, and I click on it, you can see then it blue highlights my animated movie lover guy. I've instantly been associated, and it already went ahead and took even those secondary tags. And in addition to recognizing that I am a movie lover, animated movie lover, it also tags me with Disney and Pixar because they're the extra tags, and those add even more weight to me being an animated movie lover. And the more content I click on that has those same tags, then the stronger the algorithm becomes on identifying me as that type. Now, the second that I click on news, then I should see, yep, he's first. Whereas if I come over here and I click on something else, global investing, right? It switches my persona over to the global investor. And now I go back to news, and then it's Germany and wherever my animated movie lover is, he's way down at the bottom below this other stuff. So our news listing is actually doing a pull in a way that respects the personalization algorithm, right? And we'll get into that in a web developer, but if we looked at news and events, and we looked at our news index, and then we took a look, oh, that's my widget. And by the way, we give you a way to create widget content types. We go over this in a web developer, so you can have your content publishers actually create their own news listings based upon your parameters. And this will create a new dynamic news listing without any code whatsoever. There's tons of no code options, like placing YouTube widget, placing this this type of widget, and you can write it yourself. We just thought, okay, what types of widgets might people want to see no code create? And we just create the VTLs for them, associate them with a widget content type, and there you go. But if I want to actually dig into the actual VTL and see that personalized news listing, I could Control A, Control C, and we're not going to get into it. I'm just going to show you where it is in the code so you can see how this is different from a regular poll. I don't want to mess up that, so let me just go here and Control F, personalized. And there is the .content.pull personalized, and that automatically activates a little algorithm to respect all of those tags on the content, right? And respect the visitor object and do weighted tagging and all that good stuff, right? So more to come in Web Developer. And I do believe that that's it, other than covering that in a Web Developer, we also, how do you get the visitor object? How do you find that? And here in our documentation, we do have just hit visitor, and that's visitor geolocation, visitors. And down here, there's a chart. Yeah. You can literally just do this on your page, to find out what persona is associated with the user, visitor IP address, visitor locale, so I could actually show you that here real quick. I'll do a widget right here, simple widget. And we could just put, persona and put, oh, I don't want that. Visitor dot persona br location visitor dot locale, and then you'll see where I am in the world. And this is visitor object info. And then we can see this. I just have to click over here. And maybe I have to look in live. Publish. And then maybe look over here. And there we go, on the front end. So my visitor.persona, it's got a lot of info associated with it. That visitor object. And here is my persona being set. And then here's all of the things underneath it. And if I did visitor.persona.keytag, then I could go ahead and get that exact, visitor, which right now I'm associated with global investor, and my locale. I don't know why that's actually showing a ENUS. Oh, that's what's my language in my browser. Yeah, because I do have my browser set to English. But yeah, you can get pretty much any bit of information that you wish from that visitor object. How can I present personalized content to a particular user? Okay. Well, all you'd have to do is decide how you identify what you call a quote unquote user. And that's it. So it depends upon, are you having a user log in? Then that's super easy, because we have a user, object that the second they log in, that then, and you can see it actually happening here. So if we go to intranet, we go to index, we better do it from the front end so we can actually see the login. Just go to /intranet. And that's the only difference between this page and any other page is it doesn't have CMS Anonymous on it. So it automatically says you got to go to the login page, you got to pass the login. We're going to check your permissions and see if you have permissions. Obviously, we preload a user that does have permissions. So we click and log in, and then he goes ahead and he logs in. And I can go to well, I might have messed that up on my server. I've been playing around. So I think I messed around with my intranet page. Yeah, I did. I messed him up. That's my fault. But he logs in, and you can see just by the login, log out here that I've got that login methodology. The second you do, it recognizes who you are as a logged in user, and then you can target based upon your user object. You can go ahead and look for your user ID on content, and totally customize everything. So, and we could actually put that on the page. It's just, $user, $user.user ID. We can get more into that in the web developer course. So that is everything for the rules engine.